All right, you groovy grasshoppers, and I do mean groovy. It is Monday morning. The great Mark Puttenvink is here from Patriot Training Systems. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you guys?
A little down in the dumps.
Hey,
I sense there not a lot of energy. Had a bad day yesterday. Something happened to your green team, the Jets.
yeah. So listen, I I'm not going to second guess, but there was some play calling at the end there. I question, like why you don't call a quarterback sneak when the ball is literally inches on the goal line. I don't know,
Yeah.
but they came back. But like I kind of feel last year, 2 years ago, I would have said, okay, it was a great comeback. I'm satisfied. No, you got to learn to win now. You got to learn to win those games.
And I didn't watch the whole game. I watched the Giants game. They were on at the same time. But Mike White played pretty well still, right?
Played well. I mean, the whole team played well. It was a great game. Minnesota was, coming into the game, I think 7-2. So they're not, a soft team. And they were down at one point, I think 20-3, and they came back, which was great. But you got to learn how to win those games. And I think they let Minnesota off the hook at the end there a bit.
Yeah, I think the Giants let who did they play? Washington. I thought they let them off too. They were up 20-3, no 20-10. I think at one point, but yeah, I don't know.
And I don't even want to discuss the other team in New York right now. I don't know what is going on there, man.
Well, Kevin Allen and I did a show earlier. So my take on it that Shesterkin was all world last year and covered up some mistakes. But that's the way that team is designed, and that's the way the coach coaches. He wants them to go. That's what he wants. And they know, listen, okay, the team's suited perfectly for that. Now he's not playing as well as Shesterkin, so I think the team is kind of holding back a little bit instead of just saying, "Screw it, we got to go." If goaltender doesn't get his act, we got to play the way that team plays. And I think to me that's part of the problem. But and then that spirals now too, because now they lose their confidence and there's no life. So.
Yeah, he didn't have an especially good game against I forget who they played, but the first goal was a backhand that really should have been a routine save. But I mean, like you said, he can't play the world's best goaltender every night. So that
Well, I agree with you, but he hasn't done it many nights this year. That's the problem.
No,
yeah, like last year, it was like you probably let's say you have your 10 great games in one so-so game, but it's kind of been the other way around this year. So
I just look at the team's built by design. Obviously, they know more than I do, but you look at like the way Brady Tkachuk played. Like he just said, you know what, guys, we're going to win this game, and if you don't do it, I'm doing it.
Well, that's a great point. Yeah, they don't have that guy to stand up and just get mad, just to grab. Even if you have to grab your own guys and smack them around a little bit,
that's what I mean. Yeah, I mean Trouba kind of did the other night, but
Yeah, I don't think he's that personality. I love him as a player. I think he's fantastic, but he doesn't have that personality to stand up in the locker room and demand guys to get in the fight, right?
Right. And Tkachuk leads by example. I mean, that was a good fight. That was a real, a good fight. And then he, gets the GW. As soon as it was on his tape, I said it's going in. Just had the feeling because he was so determined.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So, how was your mentioned before the show there? You went pretty hard in your training, kind of push it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think so Friday I went to the mountain. It's not a mountain. It's a ski hill. It's a little hill, but it's pretty. It's they ski on it, so it's pretty steep. And what I do is I walk up to the top and I'll turn around and go backwards halfway up. So, but then I started doing sprints, like the steepest part of the hill. I would do a sprint, shadow box on the way back down, and sprint. And then Saturday I skated for the first time since whenever. And then I got up and I was like, oh man. So yesterday I was like feeling like I got the hurt. Yeah.
How do you feel on the skates first time? Like if I haven't skated in a
shaky.
while. Yeah, I know. If I haven't skated in a while when I get on, it's like the first step out there, I got to hold on.
Yeah, I'm hoping no one's watching. And we're we're doing a learn to play with a bunch of little kids, and you don't want to take a digger in front of them.
Oh, I know.
And their mother and father and everything like that. Yeah, so.
Isn't that fun? That's a terrible feeling when you first get out there because you're so used to skating all the time.
Yeah. And then it's a little different for you, I'm sure. But like I go to pivot and skate backwards, going, hey, you know what? Until I feel a little better on my blades, on my edges, I'm just going to go forward for a bit here.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to take a digger going backwards. You just got to catch a little edge or something.
Even stopping too. It's like okay, ease into the break.
No fancy T stops or anything like that.
I know.
Hey, speaking of which, hockey. I just want to. You and I discussed we were going to have my good friend and soon to be yours, Kelly Ricketts, on today. And just real quick, Kelly's a true Canadian. He's an outdoorsman. He's an accomplished musician. He wrote a book. He's an interesting story. He's a great guy. Unfortunately, his dad passed away Saturday, so we're going to do it next week. But 98 years old, his father. And his father was just like Kelly was like a, backwoods, rough and tumble guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get to Kelly next week. Good man. Great man.
That's a long time, 98 years old.
Yeah. Oh. My mom's father lived to be that old.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Never a piece of processed food in his mouth ever. All they grew it or they killed it.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
sure. Wow. Yeah. He had a farm.
That's the same thing. I think when I grew up too, it was always, we would slaughter a cow. So all the meat was just right fresh from the cow.
Well, people are doing that now. My buddy Ted, Ted, he went up and they harvested some hogs. And then my other buddy, Nathan, Nathan Parrott, he buys a bull every year and then they harvest it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So bull, really?
Yeah. It's becoming a little bit more popular to do that. You need the freezer space, obviously, but yeah.
Totally. And that's Nathan Parrott, the former NHL hockey player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. What's he doing now?
He is. So when he got done playing, he boxed with me for a while professionally. And then he got on with Bruce Power up in Northern Ontario on their SWAT team at the nuclear plant. And then he did the SWAT team for a bit. And then he switched over to fire department for the nuclear plant.
Oh, really?
He's in a managerial position now. He's done very well. And his son, his older boy, Andrew, is playing with Indy in the East Coast League.
Oh, that's right, too.
In fact,
remember Thomas Sandstrom? He's a firefighter over in Sweden, I think, too, now.
Is he? Yeah. And a D-man who played for Philly was with Toronto Fire Department. A pretty substantial. Is it Glenn Cochran, maybe? Is he a firefighter up in Toronto?
I don't think he's from Toronto. I think he's from out west.
Oh, okay.
I'm not totally sure on that.
I might be wrong on that, but I do recall a Flyer D-man is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. But Nathan, so they have he participated in a whole bunch they have international. First, he did the SWAT team thing where they do a competition.
Right.
And then he does the fireman thing where he just blew guys away because he's pretty strong dude. Yeah. Like where you got to do the ladder with the dead man and all that stuff. And
okay.
He'd blow him away. Yeah.
My voice Christmas shopping with wifey, and she has me at Hobby Lobby. You are on your own. You want us to help you now after all the things you said. Yeah, you're on your own, brother. Yeah.
I'll take a pass on that hobby.
Hobby Lobby. I can just see him sitting there at Hobby Lobby, right? He's pretending he's paying attention. And his wife.
Everything I made in woodshop ended up being an ashtray.
Yeah, it probably is one of those things too. His wife's just taking her time, and he's standing there going, "Oh, please get out of here, honey. We got to go." And he's just, that's too bad.
It is a little torturous at times.
Oh, I know.
You got to entertain yourself, though. That's why they give kids games.
Yeah, no kidding. Or else, like a lot of stores will have like a couch someplace too, right? So you gotta get the couch and sit down or sit outside. They usually at the malls they have the little benches outside there. So
or you could go like in Home Depot to the toilet department and test drive one.
There you go. Yeah. Yes, I'm getting yelled at. That does remind me of shopping. Oh God.
Yeah.
That's shopping, especially nowadays when you got Amazon. Order it online.
So
Bill, here's my recommendation to you. Say go right up to her, and it doesn't matter if she's yelling or not. Just kidding. Let's go home. We're ordering online. Say that to her, and everything will be fine. She won't get mad at you. I promise. It'll all be good. Okay. Yeah.
So I got Saturday night. Beth and I went to a Christmas like a dinner party, and we're driving there, and we're, Beth is thinking about maybe getting a larger townhouse, and she said, "I don't. We shouldn't get a house because I don't think you're that guy." I go, "What guy?" To cut the yard and all that. I said, "Yeah, I am." She goes, you're more of a garbage and cook guy. Like you're really good at taking the garbage out and cooking." And then she goes, "Oh yeah, and making the bed, but that's it." So you're really good at taking the garbage out, cooking, preparing dinner, and making the bed. End of story.
So now have you ever cut the lawn?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Well, not where we live because we have, they do it for you. But growing up, yeah. I mean, I owned a house.
That's kind of insulting that she doubts you like that.
Well, especially when she announced to the party that she called me the garbage and cook guy. I'm sorry, garbage and cooking guy. So that's my new title now. Yeah.
Hold on, Ron.
I wear it probably.
I didn't catch this at first. Ron James is jumping on you a little bit. Mark, I need some paper towels. Nice brownie shirt. That's a good one. Good one, Ron. Nice.
On the way, Ron. On the way.
Nice.
He's a good man.
Nice. So did you have some, what about the bikini contest?
Next Saturday, you know what, like with Bill, I got to get the full details. But so there's an Army Navy watch party on the USS New Jersey, I think, battleship down in Camden, and it's put on by Bill Brown, SEAL friend of ours. He graduated Rutgers Law, and a while back he started a veterans Rutgers group, so to speak. Anyway, they're putting on this Army Navy watch game and / bikini contest. So I don't know if that means, there's going to be females there in bikinis or Navy SEALs in bikinis, or you can't get in unless you're wearing a bikini. I got to get the details.
Oh, that's funny.
But I've already gone out and I've been looking.
Why would you have in the middle of all this a bikini contest, right? That's you can see it if it's the guys wearing the bikinis, but
that's what I'm wondering. I've already been out looking.
Wow, I gotta get pictures of this.
Yeah.
Yes, Anthony wants to know if it's Camden, New Jersey. Yes, it's Camden, New Jersey.
Yes. You're welcome to come, Anthony. Ping me. I can send you the information.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Barry Shelley has a question here. What was the deal of the video you posted stealing the beers in the locker room while the players were on the ice? What was all that about? I didn't see that.
Oh, so that was when we came off the ice. I was just kind of screwing around, but it was like 11 a.m. I wasn't having a beer.
Yeah, you're not much of a drinker, anyways, right?
No, but so I was just kind of screwing around.
Is Camden a tough town?
Camden is, at one point, it had the highest murder rate in the country.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Good point, Anthony. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I didn't know that.
To that. So it's funny. My younger son, Ty, was bartending. He's back in New York again, but he was bartending a few years right before COVID. And I went in with Bill Brown and Johnny Martin, who's a SEAL Team 10 guy, I think, or 7. I'm sorry, 7. Whatever it is. Another guy that does the swim. And we went in. It was Cathedral, which is a really great restaurant in New York City where my son was bartending. And it got really crowded. And he was running a huge bar. And my older son, Sean, was to my left, and Bill Brown and Martin were next to me. And I must have said, like, under my breath, it looks like the guy's giving Ty a hard time, like a patron on the other side of the bar. And I turned to Sean to say something. I look back, and Bill Brown and Martin were, boom, on this guy. I'm like, oh, God, don't kill him. Turned out, Ty said, no, it's cool. We're just having a hard time hearing each other.
Oh.
But,
Bill Brown's a big man, too. I'd like to see him go at it, man.
Yeah. Well, look, Martin can do some damage, too. And like, the thing is, I was just being an overprotective dad, but they were on it like that. It was awesome.
Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. It's supposed to be like that. Yeah. Got a big afternoon today. I'm babysitting my grandson, Maverick, the golden retriever.
What do you got planned?
I was thinking of going for a walk. He's still a puppy, so he can't walk too far, so he gets a little tired and passes out.
Just put him on your shoulder.
Yeah, he's so cute. Actually, we have a relationship like a grandson and a grandfather. Like, he gets so excited when I go to see him. He pees on my foot all the time. I think it's so cute.
That's a sign of possession.
Yes, that's right. He's taking ownership.
He's taking you into his.
They won't let him lick their face at all. Like my wife or my son and his wife. So I let him lick my face. I've always liked dogs. They're like, oh God, he's eating poop off the ground. So what?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I love dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, this is I told him. I said, "Listen, you're going to love your dog, but it's a lot of work."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask your opinion on this. So I do love dogs, and we've joked around about dogs before. So now at the beach I go to every morning, Todd's Point, after December 1st, dogs are allowed at the park. Yeah. So they have to be on a leash everywhere in the park except on the lower part of the beach. So wherever like the high water line is, like all that, and they can run free, but they have to be under control. So the rules are very specific. Yeah, you can let him off the leash, but it has to be under control. So I go there like it's kind of therapeutic. I watch the sun come up, take pictures, and I love dogs. But I've had a couple of confrontations with people. They just let the dog just run up to me, and I'm like, okay, listen. I try to say very calmly. I said, listen, I love dogs, and I know you love your dog, but there's rules here, and I want to come here in peace and watch the sun come up and everything. So I carry my tripod, so I take my videos and everything. So it folds up. It looks like it's an axe or something like that. So one guy today, I said, listen, I don't want to hurt your dog. And he sees me carrying this thing that looks like an axe. He said, I don't want to hurt your dog, but you've got to keep him away from me. And he said, what is that? I said, just keep, and I go, I didn't want to tell him, it's just tripod. I said, just keep the dog away from me.
Or I'm going to take a picture.
So he put it on the leash right there. I think I was going to axe his dog.
You know, one of the things that Sun Tzu speaks to, or in the art of war, is deception.
Yeah, too. It was pretty funny. He's like,
Yeah.
"What do you have?" You can tell the scared look he had on his face.
Yeah.
I want to say to him, "Listen, I'm not going to hurt you, dog. I've never hurt a dog."
No.
Hold on. A thing going on. Like Danny's wife, Tina, I believe, like she thinks I'm full of myself. So she's very critical.
Okay.
I called you a cranky old man with the dogs at the beach. It's a matter of respect.
Well, you don't know if the dog's going to bite or not either, you know.
Well, yeah, but it's more, okay, let's
Like,
follow the rules. It's follow
like,
the rules too,
yeah.
right? Everybody get along. We follow the rules. We all, like, how are you, like when you drive, you see some people, I think they feel like they're being nice and they'll stop when they shouldn't stop to let somebody pass or whatever. It's kind of ad-libbing. I think that causes more problems, right? Like, isn't that more likely to get in an accident?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, you just got to go with the flow.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I live it like you in a very populated area. It's pretty risky just driving in general. I mean, the other day I was on the phone talking to my son, you know, hands-free in the car, and I'm going down the street out here, and there's someone sitting to my right. They're at a stop sign, and as I get close, they decide to go. And I was able to go in the other lane because there was no one coming. But it could have been a little bit messy if there was someone coming the other way. Yeah,
running red lights and everything now too. I don't know. Maybe it's always happened, but it seems like it's way worse now.
It is, and it's just a sign of the times. Everybody's in a panic. But yeah, when it turns green, I still wait for a second or two. Yeah,
I agree with you. I don't go through a green light. Yeah. You know, maybe you and I were having a conversation. I can't remember who it was. We do a lot of things in a negative way, right? So a stoplight is the example.
The green light.
People say like, go to the go light, not the stoplight. But why
so,
do we call it?
So this is how our brain works. I read this really great article story. There's a very famous world-class violinist. His name is Joshua Bell. And he did an experiment, I think it was in 2005. He went down to the New York City subway, put out like a hat or something so people could stop and throw money. Now, this is a virtuoso who had just played over in Tokyo, a huge event like the week prior. And he got $30 that day. Oh. So the point is that extraordinary things happening sometimes in an ordinary environment, we don't notice. Yeah. Because we don't perceive it as extraordinary because it's in an ordinary environment. But when you go to the Philharmonic and he steps out on stage, you're expecting greatness. And sometimes, so I think the takeaway is sometimes we don't recognize the greatness in people because they're in an ordinary environment. If that makes sense.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know. I've often since I've been in the process of writing my book, and I said this several times. Looking back at my father and grandfather on the farm, like I viewed them when I was younger. I kind of viewed them as soft men, right? Because I was coming up and I was fighting all the time. They were these calm, hardworking guys showing up every day, milking the cows.
Let me ask you a question.
Taking care of my grandmother.
I've got a very important question.
Hold on. So I viewed them as like weak men. Now I look back at them and I viewed them as fantastic men. But it's the same thing you're saying. They were doing fantastic things in a very normal environment, right? Yeah.
They made it. I would venture to say they were quiet, very peaceful men until.
Oh, yeah, true.
There's part of that. That's part of the story too,
I do remember one time I was playing a game one time. I think it was in junior or mid. I can't remember. I was like in my teens. And I must have ran some guy and somebody, either the fan, somebody in the stands, like a dad or I think it was a coach on the other team yelled, Laidlaw, you're going to be dead soon or something like that. And I've never heard my father yell until he says, I can't remember what he actually said, but I was like, oh my God, like it's a war. He's a mountain of a man. He's like 6'4". Everybody just got dead quiet because he never did that. And when he did that one time, it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's over with.
Yeah. That's the end of that story. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, those are the guys.
Yeah.
Big, rugged dudes with hands that look like they've been chewed on for 40 years. Right. And
Yeah, my father, he got kicked by a cow one time, so it broke these two fingers, and they never healed right. So it's like he had his hand like this, and it was
care.
One time we were playing, we had the ping pong table in the basement, and we got pretty good at ping pong, and it turned into battles, right? Because I was a teenager, like 15, I was cocky, I'd be beating him, and I'd be like, come on, Dad, something like that. And he got mad at me one time, and he says, someday somebody's going to kick the shit out of you, and I hope I'm there to see it happen. He goes to me.
That's a good one. I like that.
He wasn't going to hit me, but somebody was going to.
Yeah, those guys are gone now, unfortunately. And this is another thing. So, James Cameron, who did, he's the director Titanic and Avatar. So he comes out with a statement that testosterone is toxic, and we need to eliminate it. Dude, if we don't have testosterone, you don't exist. I mean, you know, yeah, and like, when has it become like bad to be a protector, to be?
I know.
I mean, it's nature.
Like,
it's the way it's supposed to be.
Women are getting insulted now if you hold the door for them, or they think you're up to something. Like, that's being a gentleman, right? There's a great saying. What is that great saying? A dangerous man is a good man. He just needs to have it under control, right?
Yeah. Well, who was it that said, "I've taken a vow of peace, but I'm not a pacifist."
Yeah, right. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. That's a good saying.
That's Bruce Lee, and that sums it up.
Oh, is that Bruce Lee?
Yeah, that sums it up, all of it right there, and it's the truth. Yeah.
So it's when what hits the fan, and we're all a bunch of pacifists with no testosterone. Nobody's there to step in the gap.
No. It's gonna what I see. It's gonna get worse before it gets worse.
Yeah,
that's a good way to think of it too. And people go, "Why do you do all that crazy martial arts and stuff like that?" Well, it's fun. It's a great workout. But if the unlikely chance I ever get in a situation, at least I have a little bit of an edge. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, part of it is having confidence in yourself too, right? You know that you can handle the situation, so you don't go get in those situations. You don't need to.
Right. Yeah. It does. It will certainly make you become that guy. That's just kind of. I mean, I wasn't always that guy. I was always short fuse. I didn't even have a fuse, but I've learned to kind of adjust that a bit.
What did your dad think of your NHL fights? Oh, yeah. Well, my first NHL fight was when I knocked out Robert Picard. And after the game, my mother was mortified. He was right in the Yeah, she was like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" and everything. My dad, he's just standing there. He wouldn't say much.
Smiling.
His proudest moment was I've told the story, but I like telling stories over. So his proudest moment was I was playing out in LA, and I bought him one of those big satellite dishes, before the dish TV came out. So he's watching a game. We're in Calgary. Scotty Bowman is not coaching at this moment. He's doing the color commentating on TV. So it's Hockey Night Canada. And for some reason, I'm carrying the puck down the ice. I go over the goaltender, fly into the boards head first. And the play-by-play guy goes, "I don't know who that is, but he's not getting up from that." And Scotty Bowman goes, "No, that's Laidlaw. He gets up. He always gets up." So my father heard this, and he couldn't wait. He did wait. He waited until he saw me in person. He didn't want to tell me on the phone.
Yeah,
he almost had tears in his eyes. He was so fired up. That was never stayed down.
See, but that's your stock. That's that farm boy. That's you got from him and from your granddad.
Yeah. And it is. It's really they never said a word about it. They just lived it. Right. That was the biggest thing.
Exactly. And that's something that I've always been. Sometimes I kind of self-promote too much, and sometimes I try to get to a point where you just go, you know what, just do your thing and be quiet. Be humble.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You're exactly right. Because my father and grandfather, I look at them as total heroes now. And they never, nobody ever wrote an article about great men they were or anything like that. It was just them doing their job.
Well, it wasn't only until my dad passed that I found out the full story of his military history. And I knew a lot of it, but I didn't know the full. And we went through his things. And again, my dad was a big man. I was adopted, so I didn't get those genes, unfortunately. But he was a really big man. Had hands that could palm a Volkswagen, but quiet man. But I've seen the switch go once in a while when it was when it was needed. Yeah,
that's funny. Thanks, Danny. You're actually saying something nice about me, Danny. Hold on here. I'm impressed with your entire body work. Thank you. Well, I tell you, I think you're the same way, Mark. I feel never better about myself, both mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. I just feel like. It's really, people say and we've talked about this before. People say, "What do you do for fun?" And I say, "I just get up in the morning. That's my life."
It's funny you mention that because some nights I have difficulty sleeping, and it reminds me of when I was on Christmas Eve when you're a little kid and you're up all night.
Yeah.
And it's because I can't wait for the next day to get up and go train and go train people. And then I say, you gotta get some sleep here, dude. But I get a little bit pumped up even trying to fall asleep, thinking about the next day.
Yeah, same thing in the mornings for me. Everybody asks about the 3:30 in the morning thing. Well, I don't really need to get myself jacked up, but I got in the habit lately. I go on to Instagram and I watch some of the reels. Reels has some really good motivational stuff.
Yes.
Put the certain things. Just gets by the time. So I figure, as you know, you warm up your body when you go to work out. Why not warm up your brain and you warm up your mind? So,
well, because one day there won't be a 3:30. You and I won't have an opportunity to get up at 3:30.
Yeah, yeah. Good point.
So,
yeah, I didn't know where you're going with that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
somebody asked me, like, how many years are you going to do this? You want to do this like another 5 years? I'm going, no, I'm doing it the rest of my life.
Stop. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a good friend, client, and he's a big man, but he's on TRT because he was prescribed it by his doctor.
Mhm.
And I think he said he's about 54, 55.
Right.
And he said, "What do you take?" I said, "Nothing. I mean, I get my test checked, and it's where it's supposed to be. It's probably on the higher end at my age." He said, "Well, how do you do that?" I said, "It's genetics, obviously, but I also think it has to do with clean eating, and training. Training raises your GH and test level. I also think if you lead the life and try to do the right thing and be that toxic guy, but the way that they perceive it, and by that I mean like opening a door or helping people. You know what I'm saying? I think also, if you just step back and you go, so the toughest men I know personally are hockey players, boxers, military, law enforcement. So, but there's a ton of tough civilians out there, but they're all, most of them, I would say, involved in something that's very physical.
Yeah.
And would be perceived by a lot of people to be like a toxic testosterone thing. No, it's just who we are. But I think that keeps your test level up too, with the competing, the training. If you're in any kind of combat sport or you play a sport, if it's competitive, it definitely keeps your test level up.
Oh yeah, and you mentioned too, doing good things for other people too. Mm-hmm. It may sound a little bit corny, but really, it ends up helping you more than it helps other people.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. I posted the other day where the Rangers had me go to a lot of good stuff, and I was at the Special Olympics thing at Javits Convention Center, where they had a ball hockey tournament, and I was there giving out awards with 4 members of the NYPD. And I've got to tell you, it was one of the best. It sounds very selfish to say this, but that was an incredible event to be at. The kids there, some of their adults too, but they've got all different levels of autism, different learning disability. So the thing is with them, there's no agenda. They say if they love you, they'll say they love you. If they don't want to talk to you, they'll talk to you. They're one of the greatest bunch of people to be through it. And when you get done the event at the end of the day, I was supposed to leave around 4:00. But it ran late, and the girl that was running it's like, "Tom, you can go if you want." I said, "You kidding me? I'm not leaving here. This is fantastic." It was incredible. Yeah,
sure. No, I know. I was driving home Saturday from the Warriors. We help out with the Learn to Plays for USA Hockey, and that other team on the other side of the river. But anyhow, I was with Ted, one of my best friends in life. I was with Ernie, great guy. I was with Kevin Fox, who I coach, and now he runs the whole show. And with the kids, they're just so. Like you said, they have no agenda. They just want to get on the ice, and they're falling down. You're picking them up and telling them to bend their knees and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's a long way from where you were and from where a lot of hockey people were, but it's so gratifying. And I do think that we're all very lucky for it.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to do that.
You get done the event and stuff. Wow. Like you get the goosebumps going. It's just,
yeah.
So this is Danny brings up a good boy. Thank you. I know you compliment me here, Dan, and what's going on here today. I think about how many retired athletes simply live on their past. Yeah. We're athletes, but I think just some people in general tend to, once they've done something, especially something big, then they just kind of say, well, that's it for the rest of my life. And I never felt like that. I wanted to, and I think I've gotten more like the opposite of that, where I want to constantly be doing new things. I'm so proud that I played in the NHL. I loved it. Dream come true, all that stuff. But that's not going to define who I am, right? There's a lot more to life. But
I think so. There's 2 things. You mentioned going to the water every morning, and it's coincidentally I read 2 studies over the weekend, 2 research papers saying that being around a body of water mentally is tremendous benefits from it, psychologically, tremendous benefits. Reducing blood pressure, reducing anxiety. And I grew up on a lake. And I do remember coming home from whatever and just sitting by the lake, and it just chills you. Like it's just something about it. Yeah. So it may be a survival gene, meaning like you're near a body of water, you can live. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, but it is true. I'm the same way. When I go in the morning, I can't wait to get to the beach in the morning there. Like when the sun's coming up and everything. Oh, the views.
I'd have to drive for an hour and a half. To get to the beach. But it's and that's why I like to go in the woods. Try to get out there every day, and there's tons of water around here,
I noticed it was weird. We were out on a Survivor at Fiji, and obviously no TVs were there. And I realized there how much I'd be just like I would just sit on the couch at night and watch TV.
We all did. Yeah,
we go to the beach, and the sun would be coming down, and it was going through the clouds. So it would be like blue 1 second, then orange, change the color. And I'm watching it going, what the hell am I doing sitting on a couch watching TV? But I guess the sun's going down all over the world. It isn't just here in Fiji. And I get up in the morning and watch the sun come up now, but it's to me, it's incredible.
I think a great way to answer Danny, like you're an NHL veteran, you'll always be one.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you stopped there.
Yeah.
Totally, and we refer to him all the time, but Bill Brown is a retired Navy SEAL.
Right.
But he's still always, I could call him up today and say, hey, Bill, we're going to go do this. All right, let's go. He always wants the next adventure, which expands your horizon and just, it's all part of life, man. If you just sit back, it's going to go by real quick because it flies. Yeah.
Isn't that true? Say yes to your life. That's what say yes to your life.
I get myself stuck in a rut where I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. But no, do it, man. Because 3:30 may not come tomorrow.
I know, it's true. Yeah, the big thing is too, if somebody says, can you do this for me? And you say yes. But then if you don't get the task done right away, it doesn't work out the way you want it to. People think that you failed. Well, that's not it's only failure when you quit. Like you
exactly.
Did it once, didn't work. Now I'm going to do it again. And I'll do it again until I get it right. Say, okay, yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
It only becomes failure when you stop trying.
Yeah, no kidding. What was the old saying too? Like some people say, I'm going through hell. Well, don't stop. Keep going, right?
Yeah, get the hell out of there.
All right, we got on a roll here today, brother.
Yeah,
good job. Hope you're feeling better there. I take it easy for a couple
I'll be
days.
all right. I just need to stop being a maniac every day. Just be half a maniac. Yeah.
There you go, brother. Good to see you again. See you next week.
Always.